My wife has proposed a threesome with another girl. Would I be able to live with myself if I sacrificed my own values for the sake of keeping her by my side? Or would I refuse it? My name is Ash and I'm a 31-year-old man living in the bustling city. For the past 8 years I've been married to the love of my life, my wife, who is just a year older than me at 32. Our journey together has been filled with both highs and lows, but through it all, we've remained committed to each other, building a life filled with love, trust, and mutual respect. When I first met my wife, let's call her Sarah, it felt like destiny had brought us together. We shared a deep connection from the very beginning, and as our relationship blossomed, I knew she was the one I wanted to spend the rest of my life with. We got married after a few years of dating, surrounded by our friends and family, and embarked on the journey of marriage with excitement and anticipation. Our marriage has been a journey of growth and exploration, as we've navigated the challenges and joys of life together. We've supported each other through career changes, family struggles, and personal triumphs, always standing by each other's side no matter what. However, recently our relationship took an unexpected turn when Sarah proposed the idea of exploring our sexuality in a new way. It was a proposal that caught me off guard, to say the least. Sarah expressed her desire to introduce a third party into our bedroom, specifically another woman named Claire who had expressed interest in joining us. At first I was stunned by Sarah's proposition. It was something we had never discussed before, and the idea of bringing someone else into our intimate space felt daunting and unfamiliar. But as Sarah explained her thoughts and desires, I could see the excitement and anticipation in her eyes, and I knew she was serious about wanting to explore this new aspect of our relationship. Despite my initial reservations, I couldn't help but feel a sense of curiosity and intrigue. The idea of adding a new dimension to our sex life was both exciting and terrifying, and I found myself torn between my desire to please Sarah and my fears of the unknown. The conversation with Sarah about her proposition of a threesome was a whirlwind of emotions and thoughts swirling inside my head. Sitting across from her at our kitchen table, I couldn't help but feel a mix of surprise, curiosity, and apprehension as we delved into this uncharted territory. It all started one evening when Sarah broached the subject over dinner. As we savored our meal, she casually mentioned that she had been thinking about spicing up our sex life by inviting another woman to join us. At first I thought she was joking, but the earnest look in her eyes told me she was serious. I remember feeling a wave of shock wash over me as I processed her words. This was not a conversation I ever expected to have with my wife, and I struggled to wrap my head around the idea of sharing her with someone else. But as Sarah began to explain her perspective, I could see the excitement and anticipation bubbling within her. She spoke about her desire to explore her bisexual interests and her curiosity about adding a new dynamic to our relationship. She assured me that it was not about replacing me or seeking a polyamorous arrangement, but rather about enhancing our connection and experiencing something new together. Despite her reassurances, I couldn't shake the nagging doubts and concerns that lingered in the back of my mind. I worried about the potential complications and risks involved in inviting a third party into our intimate space. Would it change the dynamic between Sarah and me? Could it lead to jealousy or resentment down the line? Sarah sensed my hesitation and gently encouraged me to express my thoughts and feelings openly. She listened attentively as I voiced my concerns, patiently addressing each one with empathy and understanding. She reassured me that our relationship was strong enough to withstand any challenges that may arise and that she valued my happiness and comfort above all else. Deep down, I struggled to trust her intentions and questioned the true motives behind her proposal. In a moment of frustration and insecurity, I reacted harshly, my words laced with doubt and skepticism. I couldn't understand why she would want to jeopardize our marriage by introducing such a risky and potentially destructive element into our relationship. My mind raced with worst-case scenarios and I found myself lashing out in fear and anger. As the tension between us reached a boiling point, I made it clear that I was not comfortable with the idea of a threesome and that I would not entertain the notion any further. I couldn't bear the thought of sharing Sarah with another woman, and the mere suggestion of it filled me with a sense of betrayal and hurt. My own fears and insecurities clouded my judgment, leaving me unable to see beyond the immediate threat I perceived to our marriage. I recoiled from her touch, shutting her out as I retreated into my own turmoil. As the weight of my words hung heavy in the air, I realized the depth of the damage I had caused. My harsh reaction had pushed Sarah further away, widening the rift between us and deepening the divide in our marriage. As the conversation with Sarah reached its peak, with a tone that brooked no argument, she delivered chilling finality. Accept her proposal for a threesome, or risk losing her altogether. My heart sank as her words echoed in my mind, the weight of her ultimatum pressing down on me like a suffocating blanket. The thought of losing her, of watching our relationship crumble before my eyes, filled me with a sense of overwhelming dread. With a heavy heart I listened as Sarah outlined her terms. She offered me a mere 2 weeks to consider her proposal, a scant amount of time to grapple with the gravity of the decision before me. The pressure of her deadline bore down on me, leaving me feeling suffocated and overwhelmed. I found myself torn between my love for Sarah and my own moral convictions. The prospect of losing her was almost too much to bear, yet I couldn't bring myself to betray my own principles in order to keep her by my side. The choice before me felt impossible, each option laden with its own set of consequences and repercussions. As the deadline loomed closer, I found myself grappling with a myriad of conflicting emotions. On one hand, there was my deep love for Sarah, a bond that had weathered its fair share of storms over the years. On the other hand, there was my own sense of self-respect, my moral compass guiding me towards what I believed was right. The weight of the decision ahead of me felt like a heavy burden, one that I alone bore the responsibility of carrying. Would I be able to live with myself if I sacrificed my own values for the sake of keeping Sarah by my side? Or would I regret it for the rest of my days, haunted by the knowledge that I had betrayed my own principles? Update. Recently, there's been a significant gap between us, both emotionally and physically. It feels like we're miles apart, like there's this huge divide separating us from the closeness and intimacy we once had. I can feel the change most when it comes to our physical connection. We used to have this easy way of touching each other, of being close without even thinking about it. But now it's like there's this tension between us that wasn't there before. I find myself pulling away from my wife's touch, almost like I'm afraid of it. It's a strange feeling, one that I can't quite shake off. It's like her presence itself has become this uncomfortable weight, making it hard for us to connect like we used to. As an objective observer, I would like to offer some advice based on the situation described. 1. Know to Claire. While the notion of engaging in a threesome with someone you already trust, such as a friend, might seem appealing initially, it's essential to recognize the potential risks involved. Trusting someone in the context of a platonic relationship doesn't necessarily translate to trust in a sexual encounter. Introducing a friend into the dynamic can complicate existing relationships and lead to unforeseen emotional entanglements. The lines between friendship and sexual intimacy can become blurred, causing confusion and conflict within the relationships involved. Therefore, it's advisable for Ash to steer clear of involving Claire or any other close acquaintances in such arrangements to avoid potential fallout and protect the integrity of his marriage. 2. Saying no. Despite the discomfort associated with rejecting his wife's proposition, sometimes saying no is the wisest course of action. It's crucial for Ash to assert his boundaries firmly while maintaining open communication with his wife. By expressing his reservations and concerns, Ash can demonstrate his commitment to honesty and transparency in their relationship. How his wife reacts to his refusal can provide valuable insights into her respect for his boundaries and her willingness to prioritize their mutual well-being over her desires. It's essential for Ash to ensure that his refusal doesn't lead to resentment or distance between them, fostering an environment of understanding and respect, even in the face of difficult decisions. 3. Establish boundaries. Before considering any further steps, it's imperative for Ash and his wife to establish clear and unequivocal boundaries for any potential threesome. They must engage in open and honest discussions to outline their expectations, desires, and limitations regarding the proposed arrangement. Agreeing that any involvement with a third party would be a one-time occurrence unless both parties explicitly consent to future encounters is crucial to avoiding misunderstandings and conflicts. Establishing clear boundaries up front can help mitigate the risk of emotional turmoil and ensure that both partners feel respected and valued in the decision-making process. It's essential for Ash and his wife to approach these discussions with empathy, understanding, and a commitment to prioritizing their relationship's stability and well-being above all else. 4. Consider the risks. While the prospect of exploring sexual fantasies and desires may be enticing, it's essential for Ash to consider the potential risks and consequences associated with engaging in a threesome. Threesomes can introduce a myriad of complexities and challenges into a relationship, including jealousy, insecurity, and emotional distress. Ash should reflect on whether the potential rewards of such an encounter outweigh the potential risks to their marriage and emotional well-being. Trusting his instincts and prioritizing open communication with his wife can help Ash navigate this decision with clarity and confidence. Ultimately, it's vital for Ash to make a choice that aligns with his values, priorities, and long-term goals for their relationship, ensuring that their bond remains strong and resilient in the face of temptation and uncertainty. Finally, I want to extend my sincerest thanks to all of you who have taken the time to share your stories on Reddit. Please continue to journey with us, share your experiences, and together, let's create memorable moments.